Hello everyone, welcome to the April 29th, 2018 edition of the Astrology News Report. I'm your intrepid host, Ron Berger. In this segment, we'll take a look at the upcoming planetary patterns and predictions. What's on the celestial agenda for April 29th to May 6th and beyond. But before beginning, a little reminder to viewers to please help out covering the costs of keeping this weekly report going. Just click on the link at the end of the video to make your donation. Thanks. The main item in the zodiac this week is Mars changing signs. On Wednesday, May 2nd, Mars will leave Sagittarius and enter Sidereal Capricorn. By doing so, Mars will leave the company of Saturn and Pluto and now join up with Ketu, the south node of the Moon, one of the eclipse points. Mars is the planet of energy and action. It's the do-it planet. Capricorn is the sign of practical realization. So this sounds like a good fit, and it is. In fact, Capricorn is Mars' sign of exaltation. In other words, the planet works exceptionally well in this sign. It's a great combination for accomplishing one's goals. But there's a problem. Mars plus Ketu is not such a great combination. You see, Mars, as the do-it planet, wants to make things happen, but Ketu tends to undo things. This is because Ketu, as a significator of past karma, represents the non-manifest world. Ketu is like antimatter. It can even dissolve things on the material plane. Having the planet of action combined with a significator of past karma results in action on past karma. In other words, paying for the deeds of the past. Additionally, Ketu, like Mars, has a fiery quality. Putting the two together can be quite combustible. The energy of this astrological combination is not to be trusted and can result in out-of-control events. Now, normally, Mars and Ketu cross paths every couple of years. Since the nodes move through the zodiac in an opposite direction from the other planets, the worst of the interaction between Mars and Ketu normally only lasts for a week or so. But this year, Mars will be going through a retrograde period, which will keep it in Capricorn, together with Ketu, until November. This several months-long Mars-Ketu interaction becomes a highly problematic energy pattern. The closer the two get, the higher the likelihood for those out-of-control events. Their first tight interaction begins in early June. As Mars approaches the time of its retrograde, it slows down in its progress in the zodiac. Towards the end of June, when Mars begins its retrograde phase, it is still maintaining close contact with Ketu. And then, as Mars backs up in the zodiac, it will stay in close conjunction with Ketu through July, then retrograde over Ketu and go several degrees past it in August, then slowly go back to normal forward motion at the end of August, and again be conjunct Ketu through September and even into October. Finally, Mars leaves Ketu behind when it enters Aquarius in early November. During this time period, the other planets are all doing their thing in the zodiac, resulting in various interactions with the Mars-Ketu combination, each with their own potential for events. For instance, at the end of July, there will be a total lunar eclipse, with Mars and Ketu closely bracketing the eclipse degree on either side. This is a particularly evil arrangement, indicating that something nasty will be happening at the end of July. As the planet of aggression and conflict, Mars is one of the natural malefic planets, in other words, capable of doing harm. Retrograde planets are closer to the Earth than normal, therefore extra bright in the heavens, therefore extra powerful. When it is retrograde, Mars becomes more malefic than usual. In any case, the planet of action, going backwards in the zodiac, is not going to be a favorable time for moving forwards on any project. Mars, the energy of aggression, being held back in the heavens, creates a pressure cooker type of energy. In other words, tension builds up with the potential for an explosion when something else, like another planet, comes along to set it off. Adding Ketu's chaotic energy to Mars sounds like a recipe for disaster. Generally, the perception, which may in fact be the reality, will be that things are spiraling out of control. How does this astrology pattern manifest for people's personal charts? Find the house in your chart containing the sign Capricorn. Get ready for some surprises involving the affairs of that part of your life this summer. Here's one of my favorite example charts, Donald Trump. Capricorn is his 6th house of struggles and difficulties. Remember that Ketu signifies the past, Mars is action and conflict. The 6th house is enemies and litigation. Uh-oh. Doesn't look good for POTUS this summer. By the way, as soon as Mars enters Capricorn, the planet of attack in his 6th house of enemies will be simultaneously firing away at 2 of his natal planets, natal Saturn and natal Venus, both residing in his 12th house of loss. Things are going to get pretty messy this week for Mr. Trump. For another example, let's consider what the Mars-Ketu pattern does in the USA chart. Since the USA chart is Sagittarius rising, Capricorn becomes the 2nd house. The 2nd house of a country's chart is the nation's finances. That includes everything from the value of the currency to money on hand for daily operations to the purchasing power of the people. For some time, the scuttlebutt in financial circles has been that the financial markets are due for a correction. Meanwhile, the Federal Budget Office has been grumbling that the Republicans' tax cut has created another $1 trillion increase to the deficit, which could put the USA bond market into overdrive as the country tries to cover its debts through more borrowing. As we get further into the summer, it will become obvious just how this is going to manifest. The real danger period will be when Mars is retrograde and simultaneously closely conjunct Ketu. This Mars-Ketu pattern is an important planetary setup for 2018, and of course I will be doing more reports on the details during the coming weeks. In an upcoming segment, I'll go through the zodiac and analyze the effects for each rising sign. And now, before leaving, my little pitch for donations. If you appreciate what this YouTube channel does for you, please help support this work by visiting the donation page and making a contribution. Just click on or touch the donation card you see here. Thanks, and until next week.